Good morning, everyone. Well, it's afternoon now in the East Coast, morning to everybody on the West Coast. So we'll get started here in just a minute. Um, have an agenda that we're going to follow today. Looks like it's just Larry and Jeff right now. Debbie Darwin's joining us. See who else is going to be jumping on. Today we're going to focus on and talk about groups, teams, organizational structure of EXP, and then how that can dovetail into conversations with people. We are recording this, so I will push it out to our YouTube channel after the call. But let's just go ahead and get started here in a second. If anybody else jumps on, we'll slow walk the conversation. So, good morning, Debbie. How are you today? Larry, Jeff, how are you guys doing?
Doing
I'm
good,
good.
brother.
Good, good.
Good, Eric. How was your
Hi, Debbie.
vacation?
It was fantastic. I tried not to do work, but of course I kept getting pulled back in. But I did try to have several hours a day where I didn't have to think about work or doing stuff work related. But it's good. It's good to be back. And next week's gonna be very busy for everybody. A lot of us are headed down near you, Debbie, down in the Dallas area to participate at Five Star. So.
Yeah, I made the mistake of taking my iPad to Alaska, and that was an error on my part because I had to do work, and it was not fun, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, no, that's on my to-do list one of these days for sure. So, well, Larry and Jeff, why don't we do it like this today? Why don't we just make this a something that we can show as a recording? Go ahead and just go through the organizational structure. We'll start with EXP, how it's structured organizationally with sponsorships, and work through talking about our groups that we have set up, Pathways Group, the Alliance Group, explain that a little bit. That way, we could just let agents watch this at their convenience if that works for you guys.
Works good for me, my friend.
Okay, so I'll take the lead on going over because I have my earnings, my EXP realty.com up and running. So I'll just pull that up and do a screen share. So okay, so right now I'm sharing the my.exprealty.com. And if you look at the my exprealty.com, there's on the left side, there's a bunch of headings. The home section is where you want to go to see what the organizational structure looks like. EXP is set up on a sponsorship level, meaning we have the ability to have other agents underneath us as agents who we sponsor. When we sponsor somebody, they become part of our organization. And you can have an organization that's going backwards, meaning my direct sponsor is Darren Cottrill here, but 7 layers deep, it's Joseph Limo. And then I would be the next person. I also have agents who have sponsored other agents. So, for instance, Debbie would be ahead of me. If Debbie had sponsored somebody, they would be up here. So they would actually be on Darren's second, third, fourth level. And that would kind of at that point, take Joseph and Jerry out of being in their organization. So as organizations get deeper and deeper, your leadership may change from time to time. It's when you're close to somebody in an organization, say for instance, Joseph and Jerry, they're just one level apart. They're very close in that relationship. But as Joseph, if people get further away from Joseph, say for instance, Darren and then myself, I'm actually on Joseph's 7th level. So anybody who I attract into the organization is no longer part of Joseph's organization. So this becomes important to the degree that whenever we're talking about who do we talk to, if we have somebody that we want to welcome to the group, welcome to the organization, who should we be talking to? Ideally, you're talking to your direct sponsor. Darren's not going to take calls because Darren's too busy with other organizational things. I take that back. Darren will take, certain calls, but for the most part, if somebody that's below me in the organization wants to talk about EXP, they should be reaching out to me. And then at that point, usually it's Jeff or Larry White, because we're basically the people and from Larry's point forward who do most of the recruiting for the organization. When I say recruiting, attracting, we're talking to agents about the group, what we have to offer. There are certain people like Darren, sponsor to Peter Bakuma is actually part of Eric Delgado's group. So it's going to be tough to get Eric on a call for certain, at times. So my goal is to make sure that I'm the point of contact for agents that Darren wants to bring into the group, or anybody below Darren, all the way down to Joseph Lima for that matter. Larry, Jeff, do you want to add anything about the sponsorships and talking about, sponsorships, how it works, what goes on with that?
So, the sponsorship is essentially the person that influenced you the most into joining, EXP. And we do it a little bit differently right now, just because we do stack quite a few peoples, because a lot of people come into our group. I mean, Debbie Darwin's a prime example of that, right? We wanted to position underneath all of the different asset management companies, because those people in your upline share a portion of the revenue. So they all have a vested interest in your success, which leads to the collaboration with the company, with the group as a whole. So it's a really unique model that breeds a lot of collaboration. And I mean, within our group is working really well right now. And how we position people to receive as much value as possible from others.
Good. Jeff, anything you want to add to that? I'm going to show people what groups look like next.
Yeah, no, that Larry was spot on with that, 100%. Excuse me.
Okay. Great. So, the first level that we want to talk about then today was sponsorship, like who your sponsors are. And just know who your direct sponsor is, but kind of know who is in your organization up to level 7. And again, you can find that under my.exprealty.com under the home screen. Now, the second thing we wanted to talk about today was groups. And I'm thinking that I'm sharing the correct. Can you guys see the email now page, or am I still on the other page?
No, you're still on the other one.
Okay, let me figure out how to do this. About now? Am I on the email now? Wait, share. Okay.
Now you are, yes.
Okay, great. So there's another term that we use a lot when we're talking about our organization. That's what group are you in? And a group is different than a team. If you wanted to create a team in EXP, it's very easy to do. We have several of our members of our group who have formed teams. They have teams of anywhere between 3 and 10 agents. There's lots of benefits to running a team. You can run a domestic team, which would be a husband and wife, or a spouse, two spouse relationships. You could run a standard organized team, which is basically you set the rules. Then there's mega icon teams. There's basically 4 different types of teams you can create. The type of team structure you create would be dependent on what your goals are. Are you going to want to be feeding agents business? Are you going to want to send them leads where they work the leads, and then they're on a different commission split? So when you're thinking about putting a team together, and you don't have to put a team together right away. This could be something that you might not have a team for the first 2 years, and then all of a sudden start to really develop a team, or you might want to develop a team out of the gate. The important thing is think about what your goals are with the team and what you're looking for. The only real criteria to start a team with EXP is you need 2 people. So it has to be a minimum of 2 people to be a team. It can't be a team of one. It has to be at least 2 people, but then your team could be 100 people. And that's a team structure. Now, what we have with our organization are multiple groups that we've aligned with. The first group that we'll talk about is Control Bengal Group at eXp Realty, because essentially that's Darren Control and myself. What we've done is basically, we do a newsletter, we do masterminds, and then we partner with other groups that are within eXp. So every week we send out a newsletter. At the top of the newsletter, we have the Control Bengal Group at eXp Realty, and that's our group. And then groups we have strategically partnered with are some other groups that have other benefits that we felt were strong that we wanted to offer to the agents within our group. The first is the American Destiny Real Estate REO Preferred Partnership Network. So if you're within our group, we can also be part of this referral network that Darren and I have established, and that some other agents outside the immediate group can be part of as well, strategically again. Then we have Russell Realty Group, and Jeff does a lot of training, has a huddle, does several masterminds a month, and all of our agents in our group are invited to attend those group meetings because we've aligned with them. Then we have the Alliance Group at eXp, and essentially the Alliance Group is everybody below that's within Joseph Limo's organization and below. So even if agents that are under myself, who you're no longer under Joseph's organization, you can still participate within the Alliance Group, masterminds, calls, because we've aligned with that group. And then we have the Pathway Group, which was started by Bob Mangold. Bob is a couple people above Joseph, or maybe directly above Joseph Limo. So even myself, I'm not in Bob's organization, but I can still partake in what goes on within his group. Then we have the REO Alliance, which is outside of eXp, which is a partnership that was developed by MCM Capital, Templeview Capital, American Destiny Real Estate, and a few other asset management companies that primarily do REO type work. And then we also have Emily Cottrell, who runs Cottrell Creatives Marketing, and we have her aligned with us because Emily helps our agents with different marketing programs, but plus she also does onboarding with us. She helps us with onboarding of new agents, rehashing information, getting set up as an agent within eXp. So that's how our groups work within eXp. And I just want to turn it over to Larry just to go see if there's anything you wanted to expand upon about groups and how groups work within eXp.
To me, this is one of the biggest advantages of this kind of collaborative effort that we've built here at eXp, where other people have a vested interest. In the past, if you wanted to take advantage of Jeff's resources, my resources, et cetera, you had to be on a team, right? And in order for us to provide all of this, we had to see some part of the commission and take referrals. Now, we basically put this out there for everybody to take advantage of. And we just want people to use it, because as you succeed, we succeed. And that is the beautiful part of this. Is how do we increase production, decrease costs, build wealth with stock, with revenue share, et cetera, and create multiple streams of income. So these are huge advantages hosted by some of the top producing agents in the country. And if you're not taking advantage of them, you're leaving a lot of meat on the bone. Like, learn from these people that have been where you want to go already, so that you don't learn the same lessons that they did at the end of the day. And that's all I would say on that topic.
Okay, cool. And Jeff, you had put in the chat also that you and Kelly are a team. I wasn't aware of that, but did you want to talk about team versus group and the benefits of each, or just let you talk at this point in time and whatever you want to talk about?
You pretty much said it all, and Larry elaborated. I just was saying, several minutes ago that I just want everybody to know an example, because you said it takes two to be a team. So Kelly and I are an example of that. We are two, so we are an organized team, self-organized team at eXp. Also, when you're a self-organized team, And I don't want to confuse people or anything, but you can do a half cap, right? So since and the other thing that Glenn was really brilliant to do is in order to have a self-organized team and have somebody on a half cap, you have to, as the team leader, I'm the team leader with Kelly and I, you have to be receiving an average of 25% of the commission from that person, in my case, from Kelly's commission, in order to be that, for her to go on a half cap, right? So her cap instead of 16,000 is 8,000. Anyway, that's kind of getting into the weeds, but basically with teams as you, and then you have the mega team that even goes to a quarter cap, but that's not something that most people want to be on as an independent agent, because as an independent agent, you don't want to share your commission with anybody, right? Like most people, I would say 90% of people are on a $16,000 cap.
Right. And just to take this one step further, it's not even necessary to create a team. You can also do situations where you are doing referral agreements with agents. So that's another possibility, especially if you're talking about working with agents in different states or different parts of the state, where maybe you have an influence where people know you and know that you do real estate and they come to you, but you need to refer them to other agents. And it's very easy in EXP to do referral agreements. It's just a matter of getting those signed by the brokers that you're going to have a referral going forward. So it's not necessary to have a team. The teams that we have in our group were teams before they came over to EXP. They were brokerages, and they wanted to maintain that brokerage structure. And within EXP, you can also have a office location if you wish. And EXP, I know in Pennsylvania, they call these basically like satellite locations, where you're paying for the space and other agents can use it, and you can have different rules and regulations on how agents can use that space, what you offer in that space. But just so everybody knows that is available as well.
And that's something, that I recently started doing as well. So I have a team member in Arizona that's underneath somebody in our group. He's basically working 2 of my HUD listings with me, right? And we're splitting it 50-50, but I don't touch, he's actually on an entirely different separate team. We're just focusing on those 2 deals. I have another member in Colorado that we're doing the same thing with, where I'm training him on the REOs. A member here in Houston. So there's a lot of different ways that you can structure this, as long as it's a win-win and everybody agrees on it, and everybody is, moving in a forward type direction. And so, be open to that opportunity as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of flexibility with what we have going on. So I think that's pretty much establishes, the different levels. So you have your organization, which is your sponsorship, who your sponsor is, know who's above your sponsor. And then if you have agents underneath you, just know that they're part of your organization, and now you're sponsoring them. And then as far as groups go, this was a little bit of a confusion for some people coming into our group. They didn't know, well, what's the pathway? What's the alliance? Who's Russell Realty? What's all this different groups that are going on? Just know that, at least in my organization, we call it the Control Bengal Group, but we've partnered with many other groups, so that it's not just Darren and I, but it's Darren, myself, Larry, Joseph Limo, Jeff, Kelly, Robert Welcart, all these different individuals who have different skill sets, who bring a lot to the table every single week, every single month, every single year, who we consider coaches and mentors and leaders. They're at your disposal as an organization. So you can reach out literally to any of us, and we're going to help you out. I noticed, in addition to Debbie jumping on today, Bay came on, and Joe came on as well. I saw Kelly's on as well. Does anybody else have any questions about what we talked about today, about the structure, organizationally, group, and team? Does anybody have any questions in general on attraction? Because we still have 10 minutes if you guys want to go into any scenarios on attraction. And terminology is something that we talk about a little bit. We talk about attraction versus recruiting. We talk about organization versus upline or downline. And we just do that. We try to be consistent with it as best we possibly can, because we do truly feel this is our organization. I've had the opportunity to have a really long discussion with a person on Saturday. I was in a golf outing, and he happens to be a realtor. And that's all we talked about was our organization and the different things that we do. And I was able to say, well, I have a organization of 120 agents because that's what Darren and I have. Even though mine's less, I could still say that because we help each other out. And when you're talking to other people, you want to talk to them about what you have going on, not only as yourself that you can offer as value, but what your whole group can offer as value. And the value that they want to receive varies greatly from person to person. So never assume that they want this particular value or that particular value. Just ask them, what are they looking for in a group? And this might be a great fit for them. So does anybody have any questions before we end off today, or? Any parting words, Larry, Jeff, Kelly? You guys have any parting words for the mastermind today?
I mean, I know that Bea wants to get some FaceTime and stuff and talk about it, but she's bringing on a couple of her kids. And, we talked about, bringing them on as team members and her looking over and stuff like that. Like, we have a lot of flexibility, and we would prefer all of our business stay within our group if at all possible. And we want to make sure that we have the best agents possible, right? It's not just that the business stays within our groups. It's that it stays within our group and we have the best performance possible. And then other people are attracted to join our group and stuff as well. So, make sure that you're taking advantage of the resources and stuff that we have, guys. If not, it's just like you're leaving a lot of meat on the bone. And this revenue share side of things, I mean, is life-changing for Eric, for Jeff, for Kelly, right? And we want to make it life-changing for all of you guys as well, because the more that you guys grow, the more that we grow. But we lead by adding value and production to people. Like that, there lies the difference. All of these other companies, it is this group that opens up a lot of these opportunities. The EXP model was just the fastest vehicle to get us all to the finish line.
Well said.
Yeah, and I'll just say that what you started out with, Eric, the My EXP, I would invite everybody to go into their My EXP and just click on all the different functions in there. I mean, it is an amazing tool that I use on a daily basis. And what's really great is you can, at middle of the night on a weekend, you can go in and check on things and do things. It's really amazing to have all that at your fingertips. When I owned my own brokerage, I didn't have anything this sophisticated. So just really go in there and check it out and see how powerful it is for you and your business. Because if you're an independent contractor, we should all be running our business like a business. And if you're not using that, you're probably not running your business like a business. So check it out and make sure you utilize those tools. As Larry said, there's so many different tools we have access to. We just need to figure out which ones we're going to use to run our business. But My EXP is one that everybody should be using, bar none.
Yeah, agreed. And they've made it so much better over the last 2 months. It's light years ahead of what it was even 3 months ago. It's
Continually upgrading it.
Yeah, you can see production. I look at my agents, what they're producing. I know my numbers down to the penny, exactly what every agent's done this year. Pre-cap, after they cap, I can't see their production, but pre-cap, I know exactly what they're doing. And we send out, and one of the things that we do, I do anyhow, and I think Jeff and Larry do it as well. But when I see an agent close a deal, I send them a note, an email, a text. I've been usually doing text messages more recently, or sometimes I call them and just congratulate them on the close. And I don't know. I think it goes a long way. It's just a recognition that they closed on something that, it's just You know, when I was selling a lot, you know, and I had to close, I never had anybody to really go to. It's like you go to the closing table and you get everything done and you're at this little bit of a high. And it's like, who do you talk to about it? So it's good to be able to bring that up with our group, and you know, please bring up to in our meetings those wins. And Joe, I see your hand was up.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I apologize.
Real quick, while he's talking, can you just put in the link for my EXP for everybody so that they have the link? Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
Okay, no, I just had a quick question on as we're recruiting nationally, because I've got like a group of people that I've been working with because I spent some time in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, I've got some other areas. Who do we go to find out whether or not there's already a member within our group, you know, somewhere within the group in a particular area?
So I would tell you that you could come to Jeff, Eric, or myself. We actually, Eric Bengal has created an entire like referral map, right? Which is pretty easy. But if I'm you, I would probably not worry too much about that, because here's the thing: if this is a rock star agent, we will make room for them. Right? There will be more opportunities. And so I'm not worried about one agent controlling all 1,000 assets over the next 8 years. Like, this is where we grow as a group, as a unit. And like, look, I want everybody to be fed. And so we will always make room for talented agents. And every agent's going to have their strengths and weaknesses and stuff as well, right? We have agents in some areas and asset managers are like, I've had a bad experience with them in the past, we can't use them. But that agent is still on with 3 or 4 other clients, or some clients have a 10-mile radius rule. So even though, like, I could tell an asset manager, look, we can handle all of Houston, Houston is 2 hours away from Houston, right? And so if I'm over here in Katy, they're not going to send me something on the opposite side, but I can say, oh, I have a team member, Melissa, I have this, I have that. So actually, the more coverage that we have, it's going to be better for us in the long term of what we're expecting to see for the next 4 to 8 years. So I'm not worried, like people have asked us, oh, well, am I going to be the only agent? No. Well, how many properties are you going to guarantee me? I'm not, because you're not going to guarantee me how well you're going to produce, that you're not going to miss one task, that you're not going to do this, right? You can't do that. You're not going to guarantee me how much personal production that you're going to do each year. But I can tell you that the cream rises to the top. And as long as you kick ass like you tell me you're going to, everybody's going to eat really well. So that would be my philosophy. So I wouldn't even worry like, oh, do we have... It doesn't matter. The cream always rises to the top. And we want the best people in our network representing us. And I think there's going to be more than enough business for everybody.
Well said.
All right. Well, again, we recorded this session, so I'll put this on our YouTube channel. If anybody is not sure where the YouTube is, it's in the newsletter. Just go to the bottom part where the important information links are at, and you can go to the and if you set a notification every time I upload something, like, you know, we had our morning huddle earlier today, I uploaded it right afterwards. So, you know, I'll be uploading this, you know, right away as well. And then remember at an hour from now, well, half an hour from now, 11:30 or 1:30 Eastern time, Darren Cottrell is going to be hosting his monthly call with our group. So you guys are invited to that as well. But that's all I have. Anything else from you guys?
Oh, I did have one more question. I'm sorry. When Jeff and I talked about the happy hour that's going to be at 5 Star, is that the same as the backyard with the
Yes.
REO and ADR meet and greet on Tuesday night?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Trying to get that calendar together for the conference.
Yeah, I was trying to, and I'm just gonna I just threw everything in the air. It's like, I'm just gonna show up. It got to be a little overwhelming. So we have quite a list. We have over 130 agents that we're supposed to be talking to. So it's going to be a fun time. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. But hopefully I see everybody in half an hour. So you guys have a good half an hour, and we'll see everybody back for Darren's call. So talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Bye.